All right, so we're going to work on how do you bring a template into your application. So I have a new application that I want to build, and I've identified this template as one I want to use. It's using Bootstrap 4, which I like, and it's a very clean template. There's not a lot of errors on it. I've already looked at the preview. You have to decide what type of template that you want, but assuming that it's a Bootstrap template, hopefully this guide will help you. So I'm going to head and buy it, and this is at threeandforest.net. I'm going to go ahead and buy this, and let's check out with PayPal. Okay, let's pause. All right, so we have the payment processing. The payment's complete. I'm going to go ahead and download my template. Once the template is done downloading, and that's my phone telling me that I've made a PayPal purchase. Once my template is done downloading, I'm going to extract it, and I'm going to simplify the name because the name right now is mad long. ThemeForest puts really long names on its files, so I'm just going to shorten it to be Japaro. And click extract. Now, a lot of these templates, they not only have examples of all the different ways to use it, but they also have a documentation folder. So let's take a look at what we have here. So we have Japaro, and see, as you can see, there's a documentation folder and a template folder. If I take a look at documentation, go to index.html, right click, and open it with my browser. It's going to take a while to load because this one is probably, it's a one pager, so all of the documentation is on one web page. You just have to keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling to read it all. So let's take a break. Okay, once the page is finished loading, as you can see, they're going to give us information about the structure. So there's a source/assets folder, and inside of there is my HTML files, my CSS, fonts, pages, images, JavaScript. It's all pretty common. The utilities I would need, which are jQuery, custom.js, all the .js files inside the pages folder, and whatever plugins are available. This is all pretty standard as far as documentation is concerned, so let's just jump right into it. So if I go back to the Japaro folder and take a look at the template, we have a choice between horizontal and vertical. So horizontal, I want an application with a bar across the top like this, not a bar down the side like this. So I'm going to go to the horizontal one. I'm going to look for the core index file, and let's go ahead and open that in Chrome. Okay, so this is about the look that I'm looking for the basic part of the application. This is a dashboard, so this would be what you would see when you've already logged in. So I'm gonna write this down. There should also be other pages here available for sign in. Okay, so that's my sign in page. I would change the logo and the application name, but that works. And the registration page, okay, I'm good with that. Error pages, so they've given us custom error pages, but it doesn't look like the spacing is done right on this, but I could be wrong. And I would need a page to list, oh, of course I need a form for inputting my data. And these forms work. I can go with this style. This is fine. But what I really need is I need a page that's going to show me all of the different. This is going to be an application that's going to list the different programs that are available in the organizations you can apply to them from. So I need a page that would list kind of like a gallery of the various things available. And grids. Those seem to be pretty basic grids. Okay. I don't see exactly what I'm looking for, but I like what I do see. And given that it's Bootstrap, I can probably fake it for the part that I don't see right now. But let's portlets based. Okay, portlets advanced. All right. Cards. Here we go. So here are the different cards that are available. So I might do my different programs looking like this with a picture and text below, and when you click on it, you would get more detail. Um, that works for me. Or I could have it with the text actually over the image. I'll have to figure out which one of these I like. But yeah, I can see all the different components I need. The only reason this is going down to an extra line is because there's so many things on the page, and I've reduced the resolution on this monitor in order to make this recording. But everything else looks fine. It doesn't actually have links to the profile and the logout and what have you, but you can at least see what stuff would look like from here. All right, so I have the basics of what I need. Let's go ahead and start cutting it apart and making it look the way I want to. So first, I'm going to need to go get WebStorm. So if you go to JetBrains.com, there's an application on JetBrains called WebStorm, which is kind of like IntelliJ, but it only does web stuff. So it cuts out everything else. And I personally like to use WebStorm instead of IntelliJ when I have something big that I'm working on, because I feel like it makes things simpler. So like for right now, all I'm going to be doing is the HTML of creating my application, which I am calling sorting cap. Create. It's named after the sorting hat from Harry Potter. Sortinghat.com unfortunately is not available. So first, I'm going to need a program page. So HTML program. So I'm going to need a program page. So if I come back here, the page that I liked that was going to give me a list of my programs is this cards.html page. So let me go ahead and open this page up in WebStorm. So I'm going to go to cards.html, right click, open with WebStorm. Awesome. And then this will open. So here's my cards.html and here's my program.html, and I want to move everything over here into the other one. Well, not everything, but the relevant parts. So how do I figure out what the relevant parts are? So I go down to what I want. So right here, these card decks, this is what I said I was going to use. And if you right click and hit inspect, it'll show you exactly where that particular item that you're clicking on is in the code. So I can see that this card deck information is what's relevant. So I can grab this so I want to copy the entire element and then bring it here and paste it. Now, if I take a look at what this looks like right now, it's not going to look anything like that. Number one, I don't have the pictures, so I'm going to need to add the pictures. Number two, I don't have the CSS or the rest of the structure, so I'm going to need to add that as well. So let's go back to WebStorm, and okay, so this is a div class card deck, but it's probably inside of, it's a container header, div class container full. Now the parts that I'm collapsing, I'm trying to get to just what I need, just the relevant parts I need. And the part of the page that I was looking at was, excuse me, had the product 5 image. So this is inside of container fluid, which is inside of so inside of container full is content wrapper, is container fluid, and then kind of way down on the list is card deck card MB4. All right, so inside container full is content wrapper. Okay, and then was page heading, we saw that, and then container fluid. And if I keep collapsing these, card MB4, product 4, and what we have here is card MB4, div class card deck. Find card deck. All right, so this, I want to collapse everything above this to figure out exactly where it is in the hierarchy. So part of why this particular element looks the way it looks is not just that we're using Bootstrap, but exactly where it is on the page. Not so much what it's underneath, but what it is inside of. So it is inside of container fluid with page heading and content wrapper above it. So I'm going to copy these. So I'm going to copy this and put this above card deck. And we're going to futz with the indentation here. And so I have this, and then we have to also look at what comes after it. And I don't think, the only thing I'm particularly concerned about is the footer, which should be the last thing. And yeah, the footer is in a different control. So we're going to close, we're going to come back here, and we're going to close our div tag, and then we're going to close our main tag. So our content wrapper and our page class, page heading get closed. And then we're going to have, now the content wrapper itself was inside of this container full. So I need container full, which means I need another closing div here. All right, and so that should be the majority of the page, and I'm pretty sure I need this footer. Copy. And finally, I'm going to need these guys. So once I have whatever JavaScript I'm importing, I'm going to actually need these folders. So let me go ahead and create a directory called assets. I think I can just say assets/js and it'll create both. It does. Now these are the files that I'm going to need. So I need to take a look in my horizontal folder, in assets, in JS, and we need jQuery, Popper, and Bootstrap. So Bootstrap, jQuery, and Popper. Copy those, paste them inside of here. Okay, and see these aren't highlighted anymore because it now knows how to find them. I also need jQuery mcustom scroll bar and jQuery DCJQ accordion. I don't know that I actually am using these on my page. I'm gonna leave them out for right now to see how it changes things. And it thinks I also need custom.js, but I'm gonna leave that out right now as well. I want to minimize my page as much as I can, so I don't want to copy everything in case the other things aren't things that I need. Now, when I take a look at my CSS, there's a ton of stuff here. So if I grab all of this and copy it, come here and paste, it's going to highlight everything that it doesn't know how to find. So I also need a CSS folder inside my assets folder. So that's CSS. And Bootstrap, Font Awesome, and Style and Responsive, I believe that I'm going to need these. I'm not certain about the rest of it. Actually, I'm not even certain about those. So we go to the CSS folder, and Bootstrap and Font Awesome, definitely. Bootstrap and Font Awesome. So the Bootstrap CSS is for Bootstrap, as you might assume, and Font Awesome is a font with little widgets. We can take a look at it real quick, but I believe this design is using them. So for instance, if I take this down, like see these icons at the beginning of these menu choices, those are Font Awesome widgets. And what makes Font Awesome really cool is this is actually a letter in Font Awesome. So once you load the font, you get all of these little icons you can use just as easily as you would use a font, a typeface, which is cool. So if I come back here, I brought over Font Awesome and Bootstrap, so you can see those aren't highlighted anymore. And let's just see how this looks. So I'm going to save it. Let's figure out where our page is. So sorting cap. Show and explore. This will take us to whatever folder this particular project is stored inside of. So I can go to program.html and open with Google Chrome. All right, so I have my three cards. I have my header. There's some pieces that are missing. If I wanted to see exactly what the problem was, if you right click and hit inspect, console will tell you what errors that it's seeing. So I clearly need the images. I know that. So let me go ahead and grab the images and put them where they belong. So if I go back to here inside the assets folder, oh no, that's the wrong one. If I go back to my Japaro assets folder inside of images, there's a ton of images. So I'm going to grab the images that I need. And I believe, oh, and the quick way to figure that out is if I go back here and hit inspect again and look at the console, it'll tell me through the errors what it is that it couldn't find. And it needed product 2, 4, and 5. Okay, so those are the images that I need. So if I come back here and go for product 2, control 4 and 5, I can copy those, go to WebStorm, and how is it looking for them? I just need to know what folder to put them in. Okay, I gotta actually look at the code. So let me dig down into here. Inside this, images. So it's images spelled out. I didn't know what it was called. So images is my directory name, and inside the images directory I'm just going to go ahead and paste those 3 images that I copied. And so 2, 4, and 5 are now there. So if I come here and refresh, it can now see my images, and there's some other things that it's having problems with, but I don't know if it's having problems with them because I asked it to load them and it can't find them, or if it's having problems with them because it really can't find them. All right, now, but this is looking more like the page that we were talking about. So let me go ahead and grab from cards.html. So inside of wrapper, we had this header. So all of this is my header. I am going to take all of it from header to header end, copy, and it goes right after the wrapper, which I didn't grab. So it goes before the container full. So I actually need the opening wrapper tag, which means I'm going to need the close wrapper tag at the end. So let's grab this, paste there. All right, when we get down to the bottom, it's giving me it's giving me a highlighted error because it doesn't know where the wrapper tag is. Now, if I collapse wrapper, you see the entire page is gone. So the closing tag for wrapper must come right before these script tags was, because everything else has disappeared. So I can come down here and say /div, save it, come back to Chrome, refresh. All right. So if I inspect and look at the console, there's a lot that I'm missing. So I'm wondering if style.css would solve this problem. So let's go ahead and take a look at our style file. So in the CSS folder is a file called style.css. I'm going to copy that, paste it here. And then it has errors because I'm betting it's referring to files that it can't find. But for right now, let's just come here and hit refresh. Oh, nice. All right, so now I have my menus, but notice it doesn't have these little squares. So this is about the font awesome stuff. So if we come back here, we can see that even though I have font awesome .min.css, I don't actually have the font awesome files, the font awesome fonts. So if I come back here in the CSS folder, I go up a level to assets, go down a level, now I'm at the fonts folder. Let's grab all of the font awesome stuff, and I'm going to copy that, and new directory, fonts, paste, come back here, hit refresh. Okay, I have my icons, awesome. I don't have my logo here. This is extra, so it ends up going down an extra line. So let me start fixing some of this. So for mine, the menu choices I'm going to need to change all of this. And the menu choices, okay, so that's the notification mail and the profile. For right now, I'm going to leave those alone. And so I'm going to jump down after notification, not after the drop down inbox, after the drop down for the user, and the header container. Here we go. So this has my dashboard drop down, which is here. All right, so now I'm in the right place. And I'm going to want a link for home. And I'm going to want a link for organizations. I'm going to want a link for home, organizations, programs, and about sorting cap. And those are going to be the only links that I want. So all the rest of this stuff I can get rid of. And so the fact that my menu choices then won't wrap to a second line like they're doing now, even on a small monitor. So let me delete all of this. Okay, save, come back here, refresh. Home, organizations, programs, about sorting cap. Now I can change these icons. What happens is right now, if you take a look at it, where I say home, it has FA Home, Font Awesome. So the class FA tells it to use Font Awesome. FA Home tells it to use the icon, the Font Awesome icon for home, which is perfect. So this is a little house. That's what I want. For organizations, I want a building or something like that. So if you just take a look at Font Awesome, taking a look at the Font Awesome icons, there's a ton, and I want one for a business. Oh, business time. I like that one. A building. Ah, perfect. Okay, so I want this. Oh, a briefcase. Building or the briefcase? Let's go with the building right now. So I'm going to come down here, and for this one, I'm going to say FA building. And I have a choice between building and building O. The O is an outline, so let's take a look at it again. When I come back here and hit refresh, that's the regular building. And if I change that, oh, that's building O. So if I change it to the regular building, it would look like this. I think I prefer that one. And the programs, how about a class, maybe a Blackboard or something? So class, oh, the class with the users in it. Um, I like that. Let's go with that. Users, oh, that's in the, these are icons in the Pro. I don't know that I have Font Awesome Pro. Well, let's find out. Users class. Now, the way that the classes are set up, if you're trying to pick a class that you have, it'll automatically autocomplete. So notice users class isn't one of the ones that I have, but users is. So let's take a look at what that looks like. Go back here, refresh. Ah, I can work with that. And about sorting cap, maybe a hat or a question mark. Hat, a wizard, a hat wizard, awesome. So I'm gonna come down here and say hat What? Hat Wizard isn't there? Doesn't seem like we had any of the hats. Oh, middle finger. Red hat, maybe? Red hat. Let's try that. Really? Um, Cap? Question circle. So that's my fallback choice about sorting cap. Okay, so I have my menu items. The actual things I want to put on the menus, I can worry about that later. Um, and this is my home page, so I should be able to have these or have many more of these. So I'm probably going to need to take a look at how do I replicate this real quick. So if I take a look down here into where I have my cards, where I have card deck, I'm hoping that I can just I can, without duplicating the deck, I can just put extra cards in the deck and then the cards will automatically wrap onto new lines. Let's find out. So I'm going to take these 3 cards, copy them, and paste and paste. So there's now 9 cards. Save it. Come back here and refresh. Ugh, it does not wrap automatically. That sucks. Okay, so we're going to need to replicate the deck. So undo, undo. So I need all of this. Copy, paste, paste, save, refresh. Okay, that does wrap onto other lines, but this is not a good situation, and I'm gonna tell you why. Um, what this means is when we go to TimeLeaf, we're going to have to basically keep track of how many things we're showing, and every third item we're going to have to insert a closing div tag and an open div tag so that we can put every 3 items in a div of their own. So this particular structure doesn't really work for our purposes. I mean, we could use it, but it would just make things unnecessarily difficult. So let's take a look back at our page. We had the image overlay ones, the card decks. Uh, so it's the content type, background variable, card groups. So card groups, we didn't take a look at that one. So let's come down here and look for card groups. Okay, so there's this card group. So I'm going to take that card group, put it over here after my card deck. Minimize these, save it, see what that looks like. Alright, so this is a card group. This one's blank because I'm missing an image. Let's see what the image is that I'm missing. Product 3, because I got 2, 4, 5 before. I need number 3 now. So let's go back to my folder, assets, images, product 3, copy, paste, yeah. Come back here, hit refresh. All right, now let's see what happens with the card group once I um, put several things inside the group. Will it automatically wrap like regular cards do? Save, come back here, hit refresh. No, it also uh, does this. Um, I don't know if we can use this, or at least if we can use it easily. Card columns. So card columns looks like this. Let's take a look at cards, card columns. Inside of card columns is multiple cards, and it doesn't look like the number of them matters. Uh, so card image top, All right, so let's try this. Let's take card columns. So I'm going to take just the top line, the full body of this card class, and then I'll add the div on myself, the closing div tag on myself. So I'm going to copy that, paste it here, add my closing, okay, can't type, my closing div tag, and then I'm going to copy my card, product 2, I don't, 245, okay, I have 2. So we're going to copy this, paste it several times, save it, and then take a look at what it looks like. And I should be here. Refresh. Yes. Okay. So this is a structure that we can use so that when we build our loop in TimeLeaf, what I was checking for is that so when I put this as part of a TimeLeaf template, I wanted to be able to have this be the piece that repeats when I put it inside of my loop for all of my programs. And I would just replace this with the picture for that particular program, this with the headline, and then this was the description. And I didn't want to have to do anything special to get it to show everything. And apparently card columns is the structure that would allow us to do that. So inside of card columns, I was able to paste multiple cards in like so. And I didn't have to put any breaks in or anything else. So let me get rid of this other stuff. Save it. Refresh. Okay. So if I was building my application, I still need to work on the logo up here, but that's just playing with images. If I'm going to use this search form, then I would need to wire that up in TimeLeaf. I need to figure out whether I'm actually going to use the notifications in the mail and the profile icon as drop-down menus or not. But if I am, I'm golden. And then as far as the rest of this, to be able to show the body of my page, to be able to show the list of programs, we're in good shape. And then we would want to actually wrap these in a link. So for instance, I could come to this top card and I could tell this, you are a link All right, save it, come back here, refresh it, and now when I click on this, I would then go to the detail for this particular card. All right, so this is what I would do to customize my my list of programs page. And the next one, we're going to actually take this and bring this into TimeLeaf to customize it. and then we're going to go piece by piece and bring in the individual pages, so that we can make everything work and look good at the same time. Now, as long as this is done, let's take a look and hit inspect and see what kind of errors we still have. We need the responsive CSS, we need the logo files, custom scroll bar. Now, did the scroll bar look appreciably different? I wasn't wowed. That's not really selling me. So no, I don't want the custom scroll bar, but I probably need responsive. Let's see how responsive this is. So if I take this and make it narrower, it does some things. I don't know if this is everything that it's supposed to do. Let's see what happens when we put the responsive CSS file in there. So I'm gonna go back to my CSS folder. Responsiveness deals with how your application, how your web design reacts to being on smaller browsers. So I'm going to copy this, paste it into here, come back here, hit refresh, and oh, okay, it falls down to one image. Well, that's cool. I guess that's what it should do. So responsive CSS it has now, and the logo file, logo 2 and small logo, I'm missing, and so let's grab those. Okay, I don't know where the folder went. All right, you're acting a little weird. So I need logo 2, control, and small logo. Copy. All right, images, paste, save, come back here, refresh. All right, so I have my logo. So this is looking pretty cool. Let's go back to inspect. What are you still having problems with? Oh, right. Now, I don't see that I'm using these icons anywhere. So let me go ahead and get rid of them. I'm going to then get rid of these three things. No point in having references. Having references to things you don't use not only takes up the space of the reference, it actually makes your page run slower because it takes time to go look for something that doesn't exist. So I'm going to save this, refresh this, and the only thing that we're missing is custom.js and about1.jpg. I don't remember seeing an about image. Let's take a look. Oh, the image of the person that goes in the box. So copy, paste. So this should now have an image in the profile box, I believe. Refresh. Okay, so cool. That's working. Go back to inspect, console. We got one thing that's failing to load, the custom.js file. So let's take a look at custom.js and see why is it giving us agita. So if I come here and I take a look at the JS folder and take a look at custom.js, we're going to also open this in WebStorm. Oh, this is for switching out the the menu button when it goes full screen or not. I don't think it's a big deal, but why not go ahead and include it? So let me copy this JS, paste, okay, refresh. Oh, and custom.js is referring to the mcustom scroll bar. Yeah, great, perfect. So I either need to edit my JavaScript so that it doesn't try to load the scroll bar, or I now need to add the scroll bar file. Custom scroll bar. For the sake of argument, let's go ahead and add it and see if we can see any difference. So JS custom scroll bar. Is that what it was called? So cards jQuery custom scroll bar concat.min.js. So copy this. Come back here. Copy this. Paste it into here. Okay, so that file is there now. If I come back here, hit refresh, and I wonder what it does. Um, oh, the little button to take us back up to the top of the page, which probably doesn't have an icon because I took out the icon files. So let's inspect this. Console, DC accordion is not a function, so it's looking for that too. All right. Well, it was a good effort because we still gotta. It's better to know that you need something than to just copy everything over willy-nilly and have it make your page larger without knowing why it's there. So I added DC accordion. Um, cards.html. DC accordion goes after the custom scroll bar. Save, come back here, refresh, console, no errors. It couldn't download Font Awesome Web Font, OTS parsing error. No big deal on that. We can fix that later. But we have a logo. Now, if you're trying to figure out how to deal with the logo, if you right click it, open image in new tab, you now have a link to an image that you can download directly. Of course, you could grab it out of the file. And then when you edit it using the original file. That way you're making a logo that's the same exact size as this one. I'll probably do another session on that. But now I have a version of this that I have winnowed down to just the parts I need, and I actually understand what the pieces are so that I can then use this as part of an application that I'll be handling. We're at 50 minutes, which we will handle in the next lesson. So for instance, I have all of this. I can get rid of everything except for that first one. Hit save. When I come back here and refresh my page, it has exactly one program listed. And as I add more, my time leaf will be able to handle the fact that those are there. My menus have the icons that I need, and I have just the menus that I want. My footer is here. My accordion, I think that still wants the font. I'll dig into that before next time. And so this isn't really a lunch and learn. This is kind of a breakfast and learn or a dinner and learn or whatever you're doing right now. But just wanted to throw this out there in case you need it. Whoever you are, even if you're a defector, this lesson hopefully will be helpful.